What can you control? A paintbrush, a video game, a basketball, a drone. Oh, a mixer. Yikes. All of these things can be a little tricky to control, but with practice, you can get really good. But you know what's the toughest thing to control? You. Some days it feels like your thoughts, your words, and your actions are all running away with you. But with God's help, you can learn to control you. It starts with inviting God into your thoughts, planting His words in your heart, stopping to think before you speak, choosing to reflect before you act. Through the power of God's Spirit, you can speak and act in a way that shows love to others and to God. You can choose every day to live His way. That's why showing self-control is an amazing way to worship God with your life. Because worship is about more than just singing loud. It's all about living loud.
Hello everyone, my name is Jacob, here today to talk to you about self-control. Self-control is choosing to do what you should, even when you don't want to. It's very important to have control. I have a controller for just about everything, in fact. Like this stereo. Thanks, stereo. Or this fan. I've even got a remote for my blender. And of course, everyone's favorite remote control, the TV remote. Whoa, where is the TV remote? This is its spot. This is its home. It's where it lives. Where are you, little TV remote? TV remote! TV? 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 No, little guy, where are you? TV! This makes me so mad. I bought the remote caddy so that I could house my remotes. And when someone takes the remotes away and doesn't put it back, I get real angry. I ask you, why have a remote caddy if you're not gonna caddy the remote?
What's going on? Oh, I think I'm paused. Okay, maybe this is for the best. I was really losing my temper there. Okay, I feel better. You can unpause me now.
That was a close one. Anger can really take over if you let it. In today's story, we'll hear about a guy named David who had every reason to be angry. Let's hope it doesn't control him. Oh, I wonder what this controls. I don't even own a car.
Gotta know you're everything I need. You are the reason why my heart is beating. God, you're always taking care of me. I wanna follow where you are leading.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story. Inspired by the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 24.
David had been chosen by God as Israel's next king, but for a while, Saul was still king. David served King Saul and won many battles for him. The people loved David.
Hey, David, you're so fine, you blow our money, David! Hey, David!
Saul, however, was deeply jealous of David. In fact, he even tried to kill him. David escaped into the wilderness, where around 400 men came to join him. People who were in trouble or owed money.
A merry band of misfits.
But Saul still saw David as a threat. When he heard that David and his men were camped in the desert of Maon, Saul took soldiers to chase after.
They're right behind us, David.
Quick, we'll head around the mountain.
Just as Saul and his men were closing in on David, Saul received word that the Philistines were attacking Israel.
Oh, phooey.
Saul was forced to stop the chase and deal with the Philistines. David and his men could breathe a sigh of relief.
There's a safe place near En-Gedi. Maybe Saul will finally leave us alone if we hide out there.
But as soon as Saul had dealt with the Philistines, a messenger brought news.
David is in the desert of En-Gedi.
Aha! We've got him this time. Gather 3,000 of the best soldiers from all of Israel.
But, Your Majesty, David only has 400 men.
3,000, and not one less.
Saul set out once more, determined to wipe out his rival.
I bet that pipsqueak is hiding out near the rocky cliffs of the Wild Goats.
Well, that seems oddly specific.
Yeah, he used to herd sheep.
In fact, David and his men have been staying near some sheep pens not far from the cliffs.
Saul, headed this way. He's got 3,000 soldiers.
Again? Why can't he leave us alone?
We can take him on. I'm worth 10 of his soldiers.
David could feel his anger boiling, but he took a deep breath.
No, we won't fight them now.
And we won't have a choice in about 6 minutes.
The caves! I want everyone inside! Stat!
David and his men hurried into a nearby cave that cut deep inside the cliffs.
All the way to the back!
They're here!
Outside, near the sheep pens, Saul had called a halt.
Take a break, men.
At that moment, Saul found himself in need of a royal outhouse.
I require a royal outhouse.
I believe there's a cave over there, Your Majesty.
I suppose it'll do.
Saul entered the cave. Far back in the cave, David and his men froze. Through the gloom, David could see the man who had tried to kill him and was now forcing him to live on the run.
What if he finds us?
I don't believe we're Saul's #1 priority at the moment.
He's alone. This is your chance.
God's handed your enemy over.
Don't let this chance just trickle away.
David's anger burned red hot as he crept up behind Saul, sword at the ready. But then, he forced himself to stop. Instead of attacking Saul, David sliced off a corner off the king's long royal robe. Saul left the cave with no idea that David was still inside.
Time to move out, men. This is the day we take out that whippersnapper David.
But at that moment, David emerged from the cave and cried out,
King Saul!
David?
David bowed low to the ground.
Why do you listen when men say David is trying to harm you? This day you have seen with your own eyes how the Lord handed you over to me in the cave. Some of my men begged me to kill you, but I didn't. I said, he is the Lord's anointed king.
Saul could only stare in shock as David held the piece of fabric he cut from Saul's robe.
Look at this. I cut off the corner of your robe, but I did not kill you. Yet you are hunting me down to kill me. May the Lord show that I'm not guilty of doing anything wrong. May he save me from you.
The truth cut Saul to the heart, and he began to weep.
Oh, you are a better person than I am. You have treated me well, but I've treated you badly. May the Lord reward you. I know for sure that you will be king. Now, promise me that you won't kill my family or wipe out my name from my family line.
David looked his enemy straight in the eye.
I promise.
Then Saul and his men returned home, and David and his band of misfits returned to their usual hiding place.
David was angry at King Saul, and he probably should have been. King Saul was trying to kill David. But even in his anger, David didn't lose control. He paused and thought and didn't let his anger take over. You don't need a remote control for yourself to know how to pause. You can do that on your own. If you're angry because someone borrowed something they weren't supposed to, or someone said something that really hurt your feelings, you could just fly off the handle. Or you can pause, count to 3 or 10 or 100 if you have to, and think about how you're going to respond. Remember, you can pause in real life, but what you can't do is rewind. Once you've said or done something in anger, it's out there. You can never take it back. I'm not saying you shouldn't ever get angry. In fact, Jesus himself got angry, but he had good reasons to get angry. And so do we sometimes. It's like when you or someone you know is being treated unfairly. That's a good reason to get angry. Losing a remote? Probably not the best reason to get angry, but good anger or bad, it's still wise to keep control of your anger instead of letting it control you. That's the one thing to remember today. Don't be controlled by your anger. Count to 10 and keep your cool. Music!
Okay. Music! Oh, that's the... Okay.
I gotta get a universal remote. I'll see you next time.
I'm at a stop sign, a fork in the road. Shaking my emotions, looking at my options. Which way to go? It's a moment of decision and opportunity to do what's right by you and what's best for me.
So maybe I will do just what I know that I should do, even when it isn't really what I'm wanting to. I know there is a way that I can honor you, and so I'm gonna do just what I know that I should do. I've got a reason to wanna think it through.
I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna look, and I'm gonna listen and make a good decision. Yeah, I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna look, and I'm gonna listen, yeah, and make a good decision.
So maybe I will do just what I know that I should do, even when it isn't really what I'm wanting to. I know there is a way that I can honor you.